Jessica thought marriage had finally freed her from her mother's toxic past. For the first time, she was happy, loved, and safe. But the woman who gave birth to her had never believed in love, and when she saw the kind of man her daughter married, jealousy took over. What started as a simple visit turned into a slow, dangerous game. And before long, Jessica's own mother wasn't just overstaying her welcome, she was trying to take her place. Before we go on, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and drop a nice comment. It would really mean a lot to me, thank you. From the moment Jessica could form memories, she knew two things: that her mother loved her, and that her mother was nothing like the mothers of other children. Her mother, Diana, was beautiful, almost too beautiful. She was the kind of woman who turned heads wherever she went, the kind who wore short skirts in markets and never walked the same road twice in 1 week. But that beauty came with a price. Diana was a woman who had long stopped believing in love, in loyalty, or in anything that didn't come with a price tag. Jessica grew up watching men come and go. Sometimes they stayed the night. Sometimes they left money on the table. Sometimes they argued. Sometimes Diana wept after they left. And sometimes she didn't come home at all. They lived in a cramped one-bedroom apartment that smelled of old perfume and desperation. Jessica's school uniforms were always second-hand, and her lunch often consisted of dry Gary and peanuts. But she never complained. She knew her mother was trying, even if her methods were questionable. Diana would always say, "Men are never sincere, Jessica. If they smile at you, it's because they want something. So before they get it, take what you can." It was advice that made Jessica's skin crawl. She'd watch her mother paint her face, adjust her blouse, and strut out the door at odd hours, then come back with shopping bags and a tired smirk. Some nights, she would sit Jessica down and repeat the same tired lessons. Love is a lie. Money is the only truth. Don't let a man waste your time, waste his wallet instead. But Jessica never accepted that teaching. She was different. In secret, Jessica dreamed of love. She watched movies where husbands kissed their wives on the forehead. She read novels where men chose women not because of beauty, but because of their hearts. In her loneliness, she began to crave a life that looked nothing like her mother's. She kept her head down in school. She avoided boys. She focused. Diana never understood why. "You're too soft," she would say. "You'll learn the hard way." Jessica never responded. But deep inside, she promised herself that one day, she would build a different life. Eventually, against all odds, she made it into university. Not a fancy one, but good enough. Diana funded her school fees the only way she knew how. And though Jessica hated it, she kept quiet. Because even if her mother's methods were shameful, they paid for the textbooks that gave her hope. It was during her second year at university that she met him, Raymond. He was simple, quiet, smart. The kind of guy who held doors open and helped carry group assignments even when they weren't his. They met during a seminar, exchanged numbers, and started talking. And just like that, her life began to change. Raymond was different from every man Jessica had ever known. He didn't chase her like a game. He didn't ask for anything. He just stayed. Constant. Steady. Honest. When Jessica introduced him to her mother, Diana's expression gave her away before she even spoke. "He's not your type," Diana said flatly. "My type?" Jessica asked, confused. "He has no money, no car, no apartment. You want to suffer like me?" Jessica smiled. "He's building his life. We're both growing." Diana scoffed. "You're already falling for him. Just wait till he shows you who he really is." But months passed, and Raymond didn't show any hidden side. If anything, his love deepened. He brought Jessica food when she was sick. He helped her pay her final year project fees. He prayed with her, laughed with her, believed in her. Eventually, he proposed. It wasn't a flashy proposal, no fireworks or diamond ring. Just sincerity. Jessica said yes without hesitation. Diana said nothing for days. The wedding was small and simple. Jessica wore a gown she rented from a friend. Raymond wore a clean white suit. They both smiled the entire day. Diana attended, but her smile was stiff. She greeted guests politely but pulled Jessica aside at the end of the reception. "He'll leave you someday," she whispered. "Just don't come running back." Jessica said nothing. She only held her husband's hand tighter. The first few years of marriage were not perfect, but they were beautiful. Raymond worked in tech. Jessica found a job in HR. They moved into a small but cozy apartment and slowly began building a life together. Diana barely visited. Until one day, she did. It started subtly. Diana called and said she was coming to town and needed a place to stay for a few days. Jessica, though hesitant, said yes. When she arrived, she wore a crop top and tight jeans. Jessica didn't think much of it. Her mother had always dressed that way. But when Diana began walking around the house in revealing nightwear, even in front of Raymond, Jessica started feeling uneasy. She told her once, "Mum, please dress more modestly. This is my home." Diana only laughed. "Your husband's seen worse on the internet. Calm down." Raymond avoided confrontation. He was polite, but distant. Jessica began to notice his discomfort. He stopped sitting in the living room when Diana was around. He stayed longer at work. And still, Diana stayed. Days turned into weeks. Diana began making inappropriate jokes at dinner. She'd talk about what real men want and how some girls don't know how to keep their men. She'd glance at Raymond when she said it. One afternoon, Jessica returned early from work and found her mother seated far too close to Raymond on the couch. He looked uncomfortable. Diana laughed, flipping her hair. When Jessica entered, both of them jumped. From that day, Jessica began watching more closely. She noticed how Diana leaned too far forward when talking to Raymond, how she made comments about her own body, and how she still had it even at her age, how she wore skimpy dresses when Raymond was home and long gowns when he wasn't. And Raymond, he began avoiding eye contact altogether. One night, Raymond came home and found Diana waiting in the kitchen, alone. She was wearing a silky robe. "You don't have to pretend anymore," she said, stepping closer. Raymond backed away, stunned. She whispered, "I can make you feel like a man. I know things your little wife doesn't. Don't you want to feel alive?" Raymond said nothing. He walked out, locked himself in the study. And that night, he couldn't sleep. The next day, he began recording everything. Not because he wanted to hurt Jessica, but because he knew she'd never believe him without proof. And then, the final nail. Jessica walked into the study one evening to find her husband watching a video on his laptop. She saw her mother's voice, her body language, her words. She didn't speak. She didn't cry. She just turned, walked into the living room, and faced her mother. "You can leave now," Jessica said. Diana blinked. "What are you talking about? I've seen everything. I know what you've been doing." Diana scoffed. "So he finally told you. Maybe if you knew how to keep a man." "Get out," Jessica interrupted. Her voice didn't rise. It didn't tremble. It cut like glass. Diana stood there, staring at the daughter she raised but never truly knew. "I loved you," Jessica said, "but you were never a mother. And now you've crossed a line I can't forgive." Diana left that night. And Jessica never saw her again. Jessica built the life her mother said didn't exist. She loved when she was taught to manipulate. She forgave when she was told to destroy. And she protected what mattered, even when it hurt. Her husband didn't fail her. And she refused to become the woman who raised her. Some people will never understand love, because they've lived too long without it. But if you've known pain, and still choose peace, if you've known betrayal, and still choose loyalty, then you are the one who breaks the curse. Not all mothers are role models. And not all women who give birth know how to nurture. But love, real love, is still possible, even in the shadows of broken homes.